Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking something absolutely wild. We're diving into the cosmic roots of earthly conflict. Specifically, we're zeroing in on Chapter 5 of our source text, which pitches a, frankly, mind-bending, cosmos-spanning explanation for all the endless friction we see here on Earth. So, instead of just looking across our borders to figure out why we argue, the author is basically saying, hey, we need to be looking up at the stars. It is a super bold, totally captivating premise, and we're going to break down exactly how the text builds this argument.
So looking at the Chapter 5 index, it maps out this journey from an Okinawa UFO sighting all the way to interpersonal harmony. And the origin story of this whole theory? It's remarkably specific. The author mentions taking a standard trip back from Okinawa and just having a UFO sighting. Impartially speaking, it's absolutely fascinating how this text takes this deeply personal, kind of bizarre, random event and uses it as the launchpad for a massive spiritual theory. This wasn't cooked up in some academic think tank. It literally sparked from a glance out a window on a flight home.
Right, so this very grounded, personal anecdote acts as the mysterious catalyst here. For the author, seeing this UFO wasn't just some fleeting wow moment, it's framed as the exact spark that kicked off a whole series of profound extraterrestrial spiritual readings. It basically sets the stage for the book's biggest, most central assertion, which is, we absolutely cannot understand human history or human conflict without first understanding our cosmic neighbors.
Now you might be wondering, how far-reaching is this idea? Well, the text applies this framework to literally every single scale of conflict you can imagine. On a macro level, the source explicitly points to those massive, globe-shaking issues, think deep-seated ethnic conflicts, or the heavy religious friction between the US and the Middle East, these huge, history-making clashes. But then, on a micro level, it scales right down to those everyday, annoying interpersonal struggles we all deal with. Bickering with a coworker, arguing at home. The author's radical claim here is that whether nations are going to war or you're just snapping at a friend, the root cause, it's exactly the same.
And that brings us to this one, very bold quote, that really distills the whole thesis. The author writes, "Human conflicts are fundamentally rooted in the different planetary origins of human souls." Let that sink in for a second. The proposed answer to literally all of our earthly friction, whether it's political, religious, or totally personal, is extraterrestrial. The text is arguing that we aren't just fighting over, say, land or resources or earthly politics. No, we're clashing because our souls literally originate from entirely different planets. Talk about a paradigm shift, right? It completely flips the human experience from a terrestrial one straight into a cosmic one.
Okay, so how exactly does this work? Let's break down the mechanics here based on what the source material tells us. The text lays out this really clear chain of cause and effect. It says that human souls actually retain the traits, the memories, and the natural inclinations from their original home planets. And because there are just so many different planetary origins out there, humans inherently end up with completely different core values. So it's kind of like a giant cosmic puzzle. When you force all these wildly diverse cosmic backgrounds to live together on one single planet, Earth, they're obviously going to clash. Therefore, according to the text, what we think of as deeply entrenched geopolitical or religious wars are in reality invisible extraterrestrial incompatibilities playing out on our visible earthly stage.
But here's the thing. The author doesn't just drop this massive cosmic problem in our laps and walk away. They actually offer a super specific 3-step blueprint to fix it. Step 1, acknowledge these alien backgrounds. We have to realize that, hey, we really aren't all the same under the surface. Step 2 is about cultivating what we could call cosmic empathy, basically genuinely respecting each other's diverse origins. If someone acts differently than you, it's not necessarily because they're a bad person. Maybe their soul just comes from a star system that plays by a completely different set of rules. And by mastering those first two, the author asserts we hit step 3, building genuine harmony and world peace. According to this framework, profound cosmic understanding is literally the key to ending both international wars and your everyday arguments.
Which really brings us to a super fascinating conclusion. We've traced this incredible narrative all the way from a totally random UFO sighting in Okinawa to a literal cosmic blueprint for world peace. Now, completely without endorsing the theology itself, you have to admit, it's undeniably a captivating way to look at the human condition. By framing our earthly differences as extraterrestrial diversity, the text really forces us to stop and ask, can looking to the stars finally help us understand each other right here on Earth? It's just such a bold perspective that reframes the chaos of our world into this vast, interplanetary melting pot. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep asking questions and definitely keep exploring those fascinating ideas.